when JD Vance comes on Theo Von's podcast, like, they're good at presenting what seems like a real conversation between two human beings. And I think I go to Theo Von, I go, "Fuck you, why are you providing that to this person?"
And that's what I'm saying. I think it's fake. Because 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 9, every time the shit comes, it's always like a flip. I feel like I can speak because not too long ago, I really was simply just a nigga spectating and just viewing all this shit, though. Because what really pissed me off is the simple fact that a lot of these niggas, you got a content creator that you fuck with. Kind of like trust their word, or you feel like you want to believe that they're people that stand on the shit they say. You want to believe that until they show you that they're not. A lot of the political standpoints, or whenever they get political, they're normally going against their past beliefs or opinions on whatever political party they start to fuck with. So, for example, we have content creators that will say they don't agree with decisions that Trump make or decisions that so-and-so make inside an office. But later on down the line, when they get into politics, now they're all for whatever that, you get what I'm saying? And it's just like, I would have probably let it slide if it was like some shit like, yo, I'm trying to put their guard down, make them think that I'm on their side, put a little wool over their head, and then now I got you where I want you at. Now I got these questions I want to ask you. I've been wanting to ask you these for a minute, but I knew you wouldn't have took this interview if you thought that I was going to ask you these questions. So now, here we go. Here are these questions. Craziest scenario, unless these shits are all live, and they are just shits uploaded afterwards, what if niggas actually did ask the questions? And they were just urged to take it down. Make sure it's not in the released video. He might have ambushed the nigga with the questions, and they said take that shit out the video. That could also be a possibility. It's the government. At that point, it's the government trying to hide something against one individual nigga, one content creator that wants the truth to be exposed. You know what I'm saying? So, what if he asked them the questions and the actual filming of everything, but he was just urged to not put it out? Now all y'all gonna tell him what? You should have been willing to die for that truth to come out. Bro, everybody's not gonna be like that. Not everybody wanna die for the sake of just y'all niggas probably getting the truth. If y'all want it so bad, why don't one of y'all go and die for it? Y'all want another nigga to go and die for it. I don't know, bro.
Shooters, niggas don't really be shooters. Shit go left, I know how to maneuver. I can get bread on the block of computers. I ain't bulletproof, but I'm up first. I'm too paranoid, I don't be trusting.
We here.
Jersey, nigga. New Jersey.
We here with another video, man. Everyone's turning on Andrew Shulz and Theo Von. A video by American Redact. Y'all already know. Let's get into this shit, man.
Or, Theo Von will do one video where he's crying because he feels bad for Palestinian kids, and then has on JD Vance and doesn't bring it up once. Like, you are lying to your audience. I didn't like Andrew Schultz having Trump on the pod because I go, well, you're not gonna talk to him about Epstein. You're not gonna talk to him about these things.
He is horrible. He is a terrible interviewer, and his political takes are garbage.
Alright, so it looks like the comedian John Marco Cerezi just declared war on Theo Von and Andrew Schultz, as he just called them both out by name in this new podcast appearance he just did on the Doomscroll channel. Because looking back on it, I think it's pretty clear that their shift into politics has been a complete joke, especially now that they've both flip-flopped on Trump after helping him get elected. But if you don't know who John Marco...
I ain't gonna lie, not to cut shit off too early, but it's like, I'm not cutting it off, but not to pause too early. The politics situation, like the whole idea of getting into like politics and everything, I always see people hate it when content creators, right? Content creators that aren't really solely based around politics just jump into politics. I was one of the viewers that kind of hated watching some of my favorite content creators just, be guys that like do things like on a daily basis, talk about the most randomest, non-political shit, and then out of nowhere just jump into politics. And I'll be like, yo, you just don't, like, did you even take the time to brief yourself on anything that's going on? Like, I'm not as educated on politics, but I'm not on the internet pretending like I am. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I used to be wondering, like it would always come off like kind of like as a sellout move. Whenever I would just see one of my favorite content creators either lean towards one side, whether it be the left or the right wing, and it's just like it felt like an agenda was getting pushed onto me, especially as like a younger kid. Like you feel, I'm just like what is this? What does this even mean? And it wasn't even like they were describing to me what it really meant. It just felt like they were reading off of a script that was given to them. And I don't know if every other kid was able to read that same energy from it, but it used to just give me like, I ain't gonna lie, it threw me off all the way though, bro. Y'all don't gotta worry though. If I ever get into politics, I'ma really have to get into politics before I start acting like I understand this shit. Cause I'm not about to be one of these niggas over here. Oh, dude, I think this guy is cool because he's gonna give me some money. I think this guy did this because I seen this on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? I seen this one video and this one person said this other candidate did this, so I'm just gonna go with this candidate because I don't believe that this candidate is really for, like, I'm not gonna be one of those guys. I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Not going.
Even is yet. Basically, he's a pretty big comedian coming out of New York right now that intertwines his political beliefs with his comedy. And he's done a bunch of podcast episodes with Stavros Halkias criticizing this new wave of anti-woke comedy that's rising in places like Austin, Texas, and even a little bit in New York. Because John Marco's afraid of turning his act on stage into the left-wing version of that very hack, pandering sort of comedy, where the punchline is just announcing that you're on the audience's side in politics. Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe, for example, do this a lot, and guys like John Marco think that that shouldn't even qualify as comedy. So these sorts of Joe Rogan guys are essentially the right-wing versions of what John Marco Cerezi is terrified of becoming. And he's talked about this topic a lot in the past, but before this interview, he's never really called out anyone so directly. Because now that we're at war with Iran for seemingly no other reason than to protect Israel, and American soldiers are dying because of that, John Marco has a new burning resentment for his comedy peers who gave these politicians a hot stone massage on their podcasts for an hour straight. So he really grills Andrew Schulz here for just that.
If I'm gonna bring up people who have legislative power, I have a new responsibility, and that's holding them to account, or else I'm just promoting them. I'm just helping provide propaganda.
You got to do a lot of research. You have
and
to
I don't want to
ask
do
a
that
hard
research.
Question.
I don't want that to be that. I didn't like Andrew Schulz having Trump on the pod because I go, well, you're not gonna talk to him about Epstein. You're not gonna talk to him about these things.
He is horrible. He is a terrible interviewer, and his political takes are garbage. So yes, his platform will just be utilized.
My question is though, and I always ask people, right? I get it that people like to believe that certain people have way more power or a specific kind of power, which is why they will get certain interviews. But if the entire world, this is the president right now, right? The entire world is asking about this shit. Niggas ignoring everybody. What makes you think that this nigga sitting in front of them asking him is going to put any kind of extra heat on him? Like, it's already millions of people on his ass. He's going to ignore him. What's stopping Trump from just getting right up and walking out? It's like, are we going to be like okay with the fact that, I'm not defending him, but are we going to be okay with the fact that he just simply asked him? Like, okay, you weren't scared to ask. It's not, you're not going to get the answer. It's not like he's going to ask him like, now that you asked me in person, so about them files, yeah, word. So, I was really trying to block it all out because I parried it so, like, he is not gonna, like, I don't know what people be expecting. When I hear things like that too, I don't know what people be expecting. I think they expect way too much. I don't know what kind of talks be going into these shits where niggas end up being able to be the specific people that end up, like, I didn't understand how Trump ended up on Aiden's stream. Why? I'm pretty sure they already scoped the shit out and talked to niggas' teams, and they already know, like, yeah. But I guess that's the underlying problem, though, that they have, though. That's the underlying problem. But I don't know how that nigga would have pressed the nigga without it seeming comedic. If you know what I mean. Like I don't think it would have still even been a serious thing. I don't know, bro. Maybe
but that's why people are allergic to platform. It'd be fine. I mean, this is why I go like
the
I need to step away.
Yahoo.
Yeah, this is why. Yeah, of course,
literal fucking Mossad agents in the background.
And that's why it is tough. Where it's like if you're gonna that's why I want to stay away from politicians, because I can have someone on who I disagree with politically if I can go to their face. If I can't go to their face, fuck you.
And the best part about this call out was that John Marco Cerezi actually considered Andrew Schulz as a friend for most of his career. So by calling him out here by name, he is intentionally squashing that. Like he just doesn't want anything to do with the guy anymore. And a part of that might be because Andrew Schulz and Akash Singh, RIP, actually had some choice words to say about Cerezi back when they finished the Riyadh Comedy Festival gig. Because I guess they didn't really like that John Marco called them out for selling their integrity to the Saudi Arabian regime. So they threw some low blows at him for speaking out about that, saying that John Marco performs for the rich white people in Bushwick, New York, and has no idea what it's like to perform for minorities. Which is just hilarious when you consider that the crowd in attendance at the Riyadh festival were all elite members of the upper crust of the Saudi Arabian society.
It's disappointing. I mean, you know, if there's one comedian I've always admired, it is Andrew Schulz. And I gotta say, this feels like a surprising lack of character in this moment.
Of like the local politics of how
that's the thing when these fucking comics are like trying to be self-aware when they're shitting on us. They're like, just for the record, we didn't get an invite to the Riyadh.
We know you didn't.
Yeah.
You can't perform outside of Brooklyn.
Exactly. Like,
you do musical theater crowd work.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, your comedy isn't good. Why would they want you?
Look at that audience of yours. I bet I can count the minorities on one hand.
What a sacrifice to not go to the festival you weren't invited to.
Yeah, they don't know you exist. It's not because you're a problem. It's not because you speak truth to power.
Yeah.
It's because you speak truth to upper middle class white people and 10 minorities who want to fuck upper middle class white people.
Just pat yourselves on the back.
Yeah.
So it was honestly pretty satisfying to hear John Marco and the host of the Doom Scroll podcast tearing into Schulz, because it was all completely accurate. And now that the flagrant guys are realizing how dumb it was to go unprepared like that into that podcast with Trump and are now criticizing everything about him, this is all looking like a recipe for disaster over there. Because now both sides of their audience have sort of turned against them. And as a result of that, most of their podcasts are getting around the same amount of downvotes as upvotes. So between that and the whole disappearance of Akash Singh, they are falling pretty fast. I talked about more of that on Patreon recently though, so make sure to go subscribe and check that out if you haven't already. But anyways, after dumping on Andrew Schulz, they actually shifted focus to Theo Von, and what they had to say about him was pretty brutal. Because at one point in time, it seemed like Theo Von was the Trump administration's official jester. Like he literally was having dinner dates with Jared Kushner at one point, who's the exact same guy that convinced Trump to go to war with Iran, which even Trump has admitted to. So Theo rubbed elbows with the people that started the war multiple times.
But you see what I'm saying though, is I always say that people, I don't want to ever pretend like I understand, like I'm too deep into politics, right? Because then you get into like shit like that, bro. I just seen Theo Von the other day. I've known about him before, but I never really got into him because I'm not gonna be one of the black guys to just call every white guy racist, but not like that. But I assumed he was affiliated with content creators, or I'd say figures that just didn't align with my morals. Put it like that. That's the best way I could put it. That's the best way I could put it without me trying to make it seem like it's just a race thing or some shit like that. But I just seen him the other day do some shit with Ray. I'm pretty sure Ray don't know shit about politics. Obviously, Ray does not get in tune with politics whatsoever. He's young. Just like me. I don't really get into it too much. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know some niggas my age probably do, but I really barely do. I see what's on the news sometimes, and whatever I see when I'm on the internet. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, gang. It just be like that. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, which is why I don't come up here giving. I give my opinions based off of niggas' characters. Political opinions, I'm gonna leave that for when for the people who sit there and they devote their entire everyday life to just you feel me, debate and shit like that all the time on the internet. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not one of those guys. I judge people by their character. You know what I'm saying? So if your character's just bad, it's just bad. I know niggas, they just base their opinion off of political standpoints. I base everything off of this nigga's character. I don't agree with Trump because I just don't agree with his character. Serious. You feel me? Simple. I don't get no political background explanation for that. Republican, Democrat, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I just go off of who you are as a person. If I feel like the shit is fake, if I feel like you're not a, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna just go off of that. So I will hope a lot of other people judge people by their personality. I read this nigga does not seem like I wouldn't really want to do no type of business with them. So whoever I see that really sit there and they want to dick ride Trump and do a business with the nigga, wherever, I be feeling like y'all moralities, y'all morals align. See, I gotta be the same kind of person. So one of them, if you in that boat with him, then you with him. I don't fuck with that nigga. You with that nigga? I don't fuck with that. That's how I be. It's never. I don't think that's. I'm trying to say there's never no political shit though. I figure that's what all them niggas make it too political. They just get into this shit and they're not really political niggas, and that's why the niggas always get mad about that shit.
Times, and also handed Trump his massive platform before the election, which effectively swayed a large portion of his very impressionable audience. But all the Theo Von fanboys just give him a pass, I guess, because they really think he's this gullible hillbilly that just says random things still, which has been his shtick for years now, and it's pretty easy to see through at this point. Theo's also had a bunch of people in the Epstein files on his podcast, along with all the administration puppets, just like Joe Rogan did, and yet no one really gives him any flack for it. So this was pretty satisfying to hear Gianmarco Cerezi bring attention to.
I literally think it's like I don't want politicians. We once had a wrestler on, like a professional wrestler, and I don't think he fully understood, because in the beginning he was doing the interview like in his character. And I was like, well, there's a shallowness here that we're not doing the podcast. And I very, stuck to my guns of like gradually gotten to be like, I'm not talking to this character. We're having with you.
Okay.
That's what talking to a politician is. And they're not dropping that character.
Yeah.
And some of them are good at it.
No, they don't. They don't.
Some of them are good at it. And I think when JD Vance comes on Theo Von's podcast, like they're good at presenting what seems like a real conversation between two human beings. And I think I go to Theo Von, I go, fuck you, why are you providing that to this person?
And that's what I'm saying. I think it's fake. Because 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 9, every time the shit comes, it's always like a flip. And that's really the shit that angers, I feel like, a lot of the viewers. I feel like I can speak because not too long ago, I really was simply just this nigga spectating and just viewing all this shit, though. Because what really pissed me off is the simple fact that a lot of these niggas, you got a content creator that you fuck with, right? And you feel like you really, what's the word? You take their word as law. Not as law, but you kind of like trust their word, or you feel like you want to believe that they're people that stand on the shit they say. You want to believe that until they show you that they're not. A lot of the political standpoints, or whenever they get political, they're normally going against their past beliefs or opinions on whatever political party they start to fuck with. So, for example, we have content creators that would say they don't agree with decisions that Trump make or decisions that so-and-so make inside an office. But later on down the line, when they get into politics, now they're all for whatever that, you get what I'm saying? And it's just like, why are you being so flip-floppy? Where is the issues you had or the questions you had for these people when you get the opportunity to be in front of their face? I would have probably let it slide if it was like some shit like, yo, I'm trying to put their guard down, make them think that I'm on their side, put a little wool over their head, and then now I got you where I want you at. Now I got these questions I want to ask you. I've been wanting to ask you these for a minute, but I knew you wouldn't have took this interview if you thought that I was going to ask you these questions. So now, here we go. Here are these questions. Or even worse, craziest scenario, unless these shits are all live and they are just shits uploaded afterwards, what if niggas actually did ask the questions and they were just urged to take it down, make sure it's not in the released video? He might have ambushed the nigga with the questions and they said take that shit out the video. That could also be a possibility. It's the government. At that point, it's the government trying to hide something against one individual nigga, one content creator that wants the truth to be exposed. You got what I'm saying? So, what if he asked them the questions in the actual filming of everything, but he was just urged to not put it out? Now all y'all gonna tell him what? You should have been willing to die for that truth to come out. Bro, everybody's not gonna be like that. Not everybody want to die for the sake of just y'all niggas probably getting the truth. If y'all want it so bad, why don't one of y'all go and die for it? Y'all want another nigga to go and die for it? I don't know, bro. I think it's just like, I don't know, bro. I be thinking some of them content creators need to stay away from politics, bro. Just stay all the way away from politics.
Who's
It's not hard.
not
It's
telling
not
you
hard.
the whole truth. We know that based on, you know, him calling Trump Hitler in 20 whatever, and now he's this, or you know,
I'm
Theo
saying,
Von will
like,
do one
flip-floppy
video where he's
shit.
crying because he feels bad for Palestinian kids, and then has on JD Vance and doesn't bring it up once. Like, you are lying to your audience. And I don't want to lie to my audience. I don't want to lie to myself. I don't want to have politicians. I honestly don't want to know politicians too well that I would be scared to criticize them.
So it's just pretty nice to hear the two-faced nature of Theo Von being called out here. Because sure, it's great that he stuck up for Palestine and whatnot, but then to turn around and have dinner with Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner is just so backwards. And honestly, it's just a big fat slap in the face to everyone who supports him. But anyways, John Marcos Herezi then goes on to talk about the glaring failure of anti-woke stand-up comedy these days, because it really sets a low standard for comics trying to involve politics in their comedy. Like guys like Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe are just approaching the entire thing wrong. Because as I've stated numerous times on this channel in the past, when they make the entire punchlines of their jokes just some conservative buzzword, it's really not even comedy. And John Marco breaks this down pretty well here, because if he's not careful, he could easily turn into one of these hacks just as fast, as there's pandering comedians on both the right and the left who do this. So John Marco is highly cautious about this very thing.
Like, do you feel like there's a kind of responsibility now thrust upon you by having, you were outspoken about a few issues maybe a year ago that accumulated a whole new audience that maybe wasn't familiar with your work before?
Yeah, people, I mean, you know, there were times people, oh, I hope you were going to joke more about Israel. And I was like, I don't have a joke about it. My challenge is more like, okay, if I have an audience that agrees with me on a bunch of things, how do I write jokes that make them go, oh, like, because I like that. That's what I want my comedy to be.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be pandering.
I was going to ask you about some of that.
If they applaud on the setup of a line, that's fine. Like, if the setup to a joke, they applaud. Like, for me, I think you see my belief. You can see my beliefs in the setup. That's fine. I don't want the punchline to be an emphasis of my beliefs, because then that's pandering. Then I'm asking for applause or approval because you agree with me.
Yeah.
If anything, I want you to trust my heart. I don't know. I don't care, really. But I want the joke to be funny even if you disagreed with me. Now, the setup is going to reveal, you know, what I am. You know, the setup's going to be, I'm a trans ally. The punchline cannot be, I'm a trans ally, because that's pandering. The punchline should be, I'm a trans ally for the most insane, funny reason you've ever heard, and you understand that's a joke.
Sure.
And that's the challenge for me, as opposed to a responsibility. I think my responsibility is I want to be funny still.
But you see, while there is a lot of hackish pandering comedy on both the left and the right nowadays, it just seems to be happening more on the right. Because a lot of comics flock to Joe Rogan's Mothership and other right-wing hubs as a result of not making it in the mainstream. I mean, Tony Hinchcliffe himself tried and failed to make it in Hollywood for a very long time, as I touched on in a recent video. And if he would have made it in Hollywood, he certainly wouldn't be this right-winged monster that he is now. So the right-wing grift is sort of the last resort for a lot of these failed comics' careers. So it's just like a magnet for the worst comedians on earth. I mean, you can even see this with Brian Callen and Chris D'Elia now too, who went basically far right with their politics and their comedy after getting canceled by the quote-unquote woke mind virus. So the right-wing pipeline attracts way more of this bad comedy that you see nowadays, which John Marco touches a little more on here.
I think the right-wing turn, it's just like the map of it is so clear. The infrastructure of it is so clear. The different podcasts, the different shows, politically how to respond. I mean, I would argue that sometimes some of it's just tied to bad writing. I think
bad comedy writing.
Bad comedy writing where I feel like to my mind, whether it be racism or homophobia or kind of these simple things where ultimately it's like, ew, or get them out of here. And the joke is just on that. It's such a basic joke. So I think a lot of bad comedians or a lot of ones who are lazy gravitate towards that because they can find an audience that will laugh at you going like, gay.
Okay.
Yeah, nah, I always told people I never understood the idea of like, you know, gay being funny. Like, y'all see it a lot with even like content creators nowadays. Like, the straightest niggas just doing like gay shit in videos to get clipped and gay baiting and shit like that and all type of weird shit. I always think it's the laziest thing for a comedian to do. And I think, yeah, nah, that's like one way. And people like try to frame it like you're just like homophobic, something like that. But it's like, bro, you're not a real comedian if you have to literally embarrass yourself to be funny. At that point, you're not making jokes. You just literally are the joke. So it's like, I never really understood that shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I never understood that shit. Never could get down with it. Shit was never okay. Just...
And give me a name for this. Is there someone in particular that you have in mind?
No, I was reading something. It was recently. It was Rob Schneider was opening for someone, and I was listening.
Is he gonna say it or do I have to say?
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. Even when you said that, I was like, I got 20 I could say. And some will play with that and are still great comedians, but like people like Rob Schneider, I think I feel pretty fine saying. It's not like I've watched a lot of his stand-up.
He's doing specials on like Fox Nation or something now.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
From what I've gathered of his stand-up, it's bad.
Another weak angle that these right-wing comedians take these days is that they're standing up for free speech somehow. Almost like they're pretending that they can't say certain words on stage. So being that John Marco Cerezzi's pretty good pals with Stavros Halkias, I just wanted to briefly share a clip with you guys where Stavros talks about this free speech hypocrisy. Because Stavros and John Marco are in the same school of thought, and they're both, in general, sort of spearheading this new class of dark woke comedians that are entirely against everything that goes down at the mothership.
That's my favorite thing about stand-up comedy now is people pretend we're deep. It's like, that's so stupid. Yeah. You need to be funny. The entire job is be funny. There is not any other thing about it. It's the simplest art form on earth is make people laugh by any way you need to do it, figure it out. But you don't got to make them think. It doesn't have to be fucking poignant. And some people can do it. Yeah, their acts stink. That's the thing. It's like their acts are mediocre at best, and you don't grow if you fucking. And here's the other thing. And we'll stop talking about comedy soon. We just, because I don't want to be one of those podcasts that overdoes it, but like, you exist against something, and it's like, what do you have to say? Like all the people who talk about free speech, and I think you should be able to, I'm a huge free speech guy, obviously, but you need something to say. Yeah. And you should be able to say the most offensive things for a reason, not just because you're bombing, and if you say hard, it'll get a laugh. Yeah, that's not a joke. Yeah, that's literally not a joke.
I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah. What's this notion of like you just want to do comedy in a vacuum where there's no repercussions, where it's just like say whatever you want, and we can't even, because it's like you say free speech is like, yeah, we don't want you arrested. We just want to not laugh,
just to say you're bombing in a fucking
that's
hack.
It. Right.
You are that.
Like you want freedom from that?
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie though. Like, I mean, I'm saying though, it's like literally, it's really what it is though, bro. You can say what you say, but you can't say things and just expect to get a free pass from any kind of repercussion for what you say, bro. Like, actions have consequences, words get responses. So it's like, I don't know. You gotta be able to say like, I want to say whatever I want to say that I think is gonna be funny, and I don't really give a fuck if y'all want to say that that was ass. It wasn't funny. I'm tanking right now. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say it though regardless, and we going to get that shit out the way. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like, nah, bro. It's like, nah. Ain't no way you're going to be sitting up there on the stage. You're supposed to be a professional stand-up comedian. You're making a stand-up comedy, and nobody's laughing. You just go like, Well, damn, bro. Nobody laughing in the building. Y'all niggas must be gay. It's like, you need to leave. Oh, damn, I thought I could say that. Nah, bro, you're just doing bad, gang. You're doing bad. They don't want to. That's the best you could have came with after you're already tanking? Calling everybody gay for not laughing? I'd have just walked off the stage, man.
You want to be respected,
Yeah,
but you
like...
suck at comedy. Also, there's not that many good, but that is why this happened. Just because like so few people can actually be good at comedy, and so it pisses them off. They think they should be famous, and this is and again both ways. But I will say,
everybody can't
in the last
funny,
decade,
man.
It's become clear it's a lot more profitable and easy to be the right-wing comic now.
Oh, for sure.
So hack comics wanting to say slurs on stage in the name of free speech is just so pathetic. Because if they were actually funny, they'd be able to make saying the slur acceptable. Like there's really no limits on free speech in comedy when you're actually good at telling jokes. But just saying the slur as a punchline should be completely frowned upon. So all in all, it's music to my ears to hear these comedians setting the record straight when it comes to the do's and don'ts on stage. The next video is going to be all about Stavros Halkias calling out this very thing, so make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss that, and feel free to check out my bonus videos on Patreon too. The link for that's down below, but anyways, thank you so much for watching.
That video, I think I just came up when it was like, Joe Rogan realizes that Trump played him. I seen that too, but it's like honestly too, like I said, even when I seen Trump on Aiden's stream, like I don't know if Aiden, they had some kind of conversation behind the scenes where this nigga like felt like they was really close, but I don't know. I don't trust politicians. I don't trust celebrities in general. I don't like I'm not gonna lie to you. Everybody who's like just broke want to say, damn, if I could just get into a room with billionaires, I don't think they're gonna just like automatically give you the step-by-step on how to get rich like them, because then that's like one more person that's not a part of the whole to keep them rich. So it's like I don't trust billionaires. I don't trust the extremely wealthy, because I feel like to get to that certain level, you would have had to fuck over a couple of people on the way there. A lot of people, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't want to be one of them. I don't want to be one of them. I don't want to get involved with it. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? That's always, I never would want to be you get into being a billionaire with like the most purest way, keeping your morals and everything good standing. I take it, whatever. But realistically, right? I'd settle for just being alright. We could just be alright. We could be a couple mils up, just a couple mils up. That crazy shit, like them niggas. But regardless of it, if I end up doing this shit, then I'm gonna do. Then I end up being a billionaire, right? I guess to be fair, by that logic, you wouldn't just don't trust me. Even if I say I'm a good person, don't trust me because I'm a billionaire. I gotta be fair, but I gotta stand on that though. I just don't trust billionaires, bro. I don't think they're to be trusted. Like, I think they're better off just look from a distance and just be like, okay, I kind of fake admire the motivation of you going that far to get the money. You know, use it as some kind of a blank motivation. Like there's belief. Like when you see that nigga Elon Musk fucking net worth. You see those numbers, you like, damn. So that's a number that's achievable. Okay. Maybe it's not, but it's something to motivate you. You know what I'm saying? But I would never want to go hang out with these niggas. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would never want to hang out with them. Like, I don't think what I would want to get out of the situation would get what I would get out of the situation. But you know what I'm saying? That's just me though. The one thing I did with this video was get my opinion off it, is how I feel about content creators getting into politics, bro. But that's hey, I guess y'all can hold me to my own word if y'all ever see me down the line somehow get into politics, though. I don't, like I told y'all, though, I educate myself. I don't like to get into things that I don't understand. Like, I like to educate myself. Sometimes even with some of these videos, bro, I be educating myself in front of y'all faces, bro. In front of y'all faces. I don't like to just speak on shit that I don't understand. And if I am giving an opinion, I'm going to give an opinion on something that I could genuinely give an opinion on. You get what I'm saying? But, yeah. That's the video, bro. I hope y'all liked it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notification so you can catch every video that's on the channel. All the links are going to be in the description. And as always, I hope y'all was entertained, because that's all I care about, is that y'all was entertained, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Peace out.
It ain't no need for discussion. I just gotta keep working. Whole lot of things that I'm trying to purchase. Trying to see the hills, only seeing murder. I ain't rich, but my pockets ain't hurting. Locked in, so I ain't with the flirting. Know it's cops on the block, they be lurking. Bro posted up and ain't nobody nervous. Pop a 30 and bro go berserk. Smooch on my Zod, chest starting to hurt. Only go up, I can't go back to nothing. Really feel like that shit really works. Like I remember when I was in church, and I ain't wanna give them alert. Niggas got shit to say when they ain't in the position. Gotta focus, some niggas don't listen.